I'm Diego Cordovez.
Adam John Phan.
Welcome to The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. And last week we had John Phan, card player of the year, and a renowned champion, two-time World Series of Poker champion. And he was very interesting, and we brought him back for episode number 2. So if you missed part 1, it is in the Card Player Archives and Card Player TV. You want to make sure you watch that so that you don't get lost as we start part 2. But here's John Phan.
You say that you slowed down. What made you do that?
Because it's like actually experiment come and when you're really young back then, like, I'm very fearless, and now like I pick my spot. If I'm really hard, then I'll play whatever card I have to. But I'm not going to. I stay away from the big stack if they raise. I'm not going to like get too creative with them.
Is it also because the overall style of play just out there has changed? Because, you know, when we started playing against each other 10 years ago, 8 years ago, it was very rare for someone to be as loose and as aggressive as you were. And just that aggression itself was a very powerful weapon. Now that so many young guys have learned to play on the internet, it's like aggression by itself isn't enough anymore, and you have to counter that to some degree. I mean, is part of the adjustment just based on the fact that the opponents have changed a lot, or is it more just a matter of experience and more, learning from mistakes and improving?
No, you're right. Just like right now, just like Diego said, all the online kids, they watch a lot of TV and they're like so good online. And like before, you would see a kid at a table, they just want to beat you. They don't care what they have. Mm-hmm. They just follow you, just want to, because you're who you are. They don't care if they like give you all the chip. They just play against you every single pot. But nowadays, all these kids, they're like, I mean, like all these online kids, they're 21 to 22, 3, 4. They're so good. And like sometimes, like you can't even read them. They're like really good. And that's why all these old school guys can't even win no more, because all young kids are super aggressive and good. And if they put a read on you where they like put it on the turn when you have like a flush run overcard, you can't really want to risk all your chip.
Right.
And they don't care if they have nothing,
But you're an old school guy, and you have been very successful. So is it a matter of you making some big adjustments in order to maintain your success, or you just had a style that was able to work whereas other people didn't?
No, you have to have a big adjustment, and I'm very fortunate where like I have a gift where not a lot of people have, where I can read my card really well sometime, and catch a lot of cards. I get lucky when I need to get lucky, and stay away from whenever I need to stay away, like lay down pocket queen or like ace king. Before I would never like be able to lay down like ace king before a flop or pocket queen. I would, no matter what you have, like. But now if I have like big stack, I would like if I think queen is easy for me to lay down. If I triple my chip up, I'm gonna have like the same amount of chip on a big event, and I raise, he re-raise, I re-raise, the guy just chip it on it. And sometimes I do that when I lay down with queen, the guy is so many ace king. But a lot of people play so powerful with ace king. I don't agree with that, but a lot of people still do nowadays. I'm just afraid of ace king. I don't like the other day, like some point where a guy raised, re-raised, and I just saw ace king, I just mug. I don't like.
Yeah.
Just I'm so afraid with ace king, and like when they can have pocket jack or 10, you still be like nothing, no good.
Yeah, you're still behind.
Yeah.
The funny thing with ace king to me is that it still remains a very good move in hand, and doesn't mean you have to, but there are situations where it's the right. But a lot of people feel it's automatic to call with the ace king. They just won't give it up. They'll make a raise. There'll be a big re-raise, and they're like, it can't be that bad, and they're in. And maybe it's a good gambling hand early or something, but that's the thing that's interesting. And I don't know. I still probably don't lay it down too often, just because it's a chance to accumulate a lot of chips.
So what are you going to do? Let's assume you do win the Card Player of the Year, which it looks like very strongly now. Are you going to play a lot next year and try to win it again? You're going to take it more slowly, only play the big events?
Actually, next year I won't play that much tournament. I won't fly to like everywhere this year. I fly like to the Bahamas, London, Macau, Philippines.
You really
and, like,
went everywhere.
That's as far as you can go.
I went all around the world. Like it's like I'm getting like.
If you went to Macau, then you really you went everywhere.
And I went to London. I went like Canada, Niagara Falls, like all the East Coast tournament.
You get tired of traveling, right?
Yeah, I get like. Plus, I've been traveling since 2003, so it's like.
You like to spend time in Vietnam. You make a lot of trips there, so it's a trade-off, because if you're traveling to all the poker tournaments, you can't spend as much time doing your visits and your charitable works in Vietnam.
Yeah, definitely, because I have my before when I just moved down from, I migrated from Vietnam in early '80 to Northern California, and I lived there about 10 years, and I moved down to LA like early '90, and from there I live on my own, and like I'm very distant with my family because I'm so busy. Where I live down south, and I have like a go-to set. I want to be able to support my whole family, nephew, niece to college, and allow my family back home. So I'm really dedicated to work. So I don't get to see them a lot. Like where I grew up with them, I spent every single holiday with them. But now I get to like fly them like every other month or like only special occasion. But the last 3-4 years, I'm not saying like I'm really successful, but I did what I have to do. And
I'll say it. You're really successful. Go ahead. Yeah.
You
You're
can't be
modest,
more,
but
you can't be more successful than you've been the
Yeah.
last 2 years.
Go ahead.
Yeah, last
Yes.
4 years. So
Of course.
I'm capable of doing like a lot of things, giving back a lot. So I do like a lot more charity work, and like every time I win like big, I would give my family like a percent of my winning, like 10-20%, and it just helped out a lot. And I like to support my whole family.
Adam and I don't need 10 or 20%. We'd settle for 2 or 3%.
I demand 10 or 20% of the earnings from my family. I do it the other way.
And then
But it's not just your family, but also in Vietnam. You do
yeah,
charity.
I do charity work too, so I give them a portion of that also. And it's just such a good feeling when you can give back something to like. And once I donate like 34 times a rise, and like I help out each trip I go back. I help out at least 2,000-3,000, sometimes 10,000-20,000 people where I could give food to them, and nothing just feel better than that. Just like because I was been there, done that. I was once very poor, and now I'm very lucky where I have extra money where I can just give back, and that's like the best feeling. It's like winning a tournament.
That's awesome.
And help out so much.
I mean, you talked about one thing. I mean, despite your youthful appearance, like you say, you've been playing for a long time, and in LA, grinding in the limit games and working your way up. And you're my favorite kind of story, which is the kind of the overnight success after a lot of work and a lot of grinding. So, what was kind of was there a big epiphany or something that happened that suddenly you started to really do well in the big tournaments after playing for a long time in live games and in smaller tournaments?
Actually, yeah. Before I was grinding so much on the limit game, like I started out with really low 3-6, 6-12. It's like every year, it's like go to college. Every limit you play, you have to win it consistently, like 3 out 5 days a week. Then you pass that level, then play 15-30, then 30-60, then you go 40-80, then you go 100-200, then you go 400-800.
When did you start playing professionally? I mean, really just full time?
When I was 21,
90s?
yeah.
Because and you propped and played.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
HP.
Your real tournament success started like in the early 2000s, maybe in 2002 or 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, were you not playing a lot of tournaments before that, or did the light come on and you realized there were some adjustments you needed to make to kind of translate into tournament success?
Actually, back then I was making so much, not a lot of money in cash game. I was consistent every day, $1,000, $2,000 a day. Sometimes playing the 480 game, you can win. Someday when I'm really high, I can win 10 rack. I would walk out chip like this and like
With your style,
10,000.
with your style, that's possible.
And I love to go out and just go hang out, drink with my friend, and weekend get drunk, come back and gamble, win like 8,000-9,000 just every weekend. It's just like and I look at my sheet, I was like, oh man, I'm winning like $30,000-$40,000 a month just playing 40-80. Why do I want to go play like 400-800? I like playing travel, everyone playing tournament with all this guy where they're so good. But back in the day, you think like, oh man, you don't want to play all this pro. Like, but once you play with them, they're like, oh, after all, they're just like that, I mean, you can be one of them and you really put in 200%, which I did. I don't put in 100%. I put in 200%.
That's one of the things I think that now people are a lot more sophisticated about understanding who are really good players and who aren't. But people watch the big tournaments on TV and they see certain faces over and over in the big TV tournaments, and some people are actually intimidated by playing against those guys. And you realize that to consistently beat a live game, even a medium limit live game, probably takes a lot more discipline and skill and dedication. And ironically, guys are playing live and they're thinking, I don't know about playing, or maybe less so now, but
I think much less so.
Used to be, well, those tournaments. And there's a lot of volatility in the tournaments, but the expected value and the edge that you have in the big tournaments is much greater than trying to beat, let's say, a 200, 400 game or 100, 200 game every day.
Right.
I mean, I can say
I wouldn't know about that.
experience. No, but it's true.
Are you playing a lot of live now at all?
Nah, because there's so much tournament now. I would love to, but
I don't see how you could do.
yeah, you can't do both. When I play every single tournament there is almost, and it's really hard when you play cash game. If you have like a bad session, no matter how good you are, unless you play a small game or average game, then that doesn't affect your tournament. But you play like a really big game, 400, if you lose like 50, 100,000 a day, then you can't really try to go on to your next tournament.
Right.
And you know.
Then you go to the tournament knowing that to get even, you have to finish like third or
Yeah,
something.
top three, right? That's like impossible. And when you put a lot of pressure on yourself like that, and you get burned out the night before, I don't think that's why most of the tournament they do so well. They don't play a lot of cash game.
Right.
And after, like me, after I get knocked out tournament, I would go to my room, order food, just watch TV, hang out, just relax, and just sleep a lot the day before. If I get knocked out early, then just come in the next day. And for some day, if I get really close, I like it better when I get really close, because at least you know you're always so close, and you get giving yourself a chance to win a tournament.
Of course.
Instead of coming in and getting knocked out early. That's good too, but me, for a long time where I keep on getting, like, I bubble the money. I don't mind bubble the money every day because, you know, that just motivates me more. Because saying that myself, I'm playing so well and just like, I'm not lucky at the end, but, you know, something got to turn around.
You talked about when you were playing live and kind of coming up in the ranks, going out with your buddies and partying it up and drinking it up, and now in tournaments, making sure you rest and relax. Is that a change, or just did that ever have an impact on you where you thought you had leaks, or where all the good times actually had an effect on your game?
Actually, you know, you grew up, Diego, because like I'm getting a little old now, so
Yeah, we all
I've been
are.
going out since I was like 13. So like this year, I don't go out that much this year no more. I stopped going out a lot, and like I've been going out so much when I was young, clubbing every weekend, like
Right.
since I was 16 to about 28, like almost every single weekend. And I'm in Vegas so much, all my friends come up
Of course.
and
They
go
wanna-
head from one club
They
to
come up, they
another.
just want to have a good time.
And
They're
yeah.
here all the
You're
time.
34 now, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, things change when you hit 30.
So is it just a matter of, yeah, you get older now, you've already done it, or is it also a fact that, hey, it's actually helped your focus on poker and your ability to deliver these results that you did this year?
That too, age change, and you know, when you go out so much, you kind of like have to tell yourself, like, you know, it's the same thing every time you go out. You don't just have as much fun when you're younger no more. When you're young, you just want to go out and have fun,
Of
just
course.
like meet so many people. And as you get older, it's like you get table, this and that, but it's just the same unless you have like a special guest coming on, like a special occasion. Otherwise, I'll get bored at the club. I go there half an hour, 1 hour, have a few glass drink, and I just leave. I'm not like before. I go in there early and just party until the club closes. You know.
Well,
Diego, you're at the clubs every night.
I'm not a clubber, I have to say, but I'll go out to celebrate your card player of the year. I keep bringing it up, but I'm very happy for you.
It's an awesome
Very
accomplishment.
proud of you, and well deserved, because you won all different games. You won the WPT and the WSOP, and you've worked at it for a long time to achieve this. So it's very well earned, and something you really wanted and got. I remember having lunch with you a couple of years ago when you were in first, and you were talking about how you were going to go and play all these tournaments to really try to finish it, and you got unlucky just to get overtaken right at the end. So I'm glad you this year you're going to get it.
Yeah, I'm really proud, really lucky. You know, just like I said, if you put out 200%, you know,
Yeah.
then you might achieve your goal. But this year I really did it. I'm really so focused, and I worked so hard, you know, like, and it finally paid off.
Well, wonderful to have you on, to be able to celebrate that, and continued success next year, whether you win the Player of the Year or not, all your charitable efforts and all your playing. Thanks for coming by, and continued success. Thanks for joining us on The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. Check us out at The Scoop, thecardplayer.com. See you next week.
Two bracelets. Awesome.
Well, you know, these aren't easy to win. I remember this one like it was yesterday. My opponent had me down to my left. Sorry. Anyway, it's down to my last few chips. So I had to call.
We play at fulltailpoker.com.